two types of friends you got in your life. And to be honest with you, I don't even think you can call the second one a friend, but we'll just use the word right now just for this example's sake, right? So you got two types of friend. One is the type that will gas you up. Now, when I say gas you up, I mean somebody who is going to inspire you, encourage you, somebody who wants to see you live in your true potential and power. You got that type of friend, the gas you up. Then you got the type of quote unquote friend who will siphon your gas. That means, for anybody who doesn't know what the siphoning process is, it essentially is when you have a hose pipe that you cut out, you stuff it in somebody's gas tank, you suck the gas out, you get it in a bucket or get it into your car, whatever it may be. And when the person gets back to their car, gas is gone, damn near empty, if not halfway gone, right? That's siphoning. So you have two types of friends in your life. One is the one who gasses you up, and the second one is the one who siphons your gas. Now, it is up to us to recognize which one of these types of individuals we have within our lives. Now, you may have listened to this right now, and off the top of your head, you already know, man, I got some siphoners in my life. I done surrounded myself with siphoners. You might be a siphoner, right? That's a whole nother conversation to be had. You might be the individual who is siphoning gas. But more likely than not, if you are doing that internal work, that inner healing, then you're probably getting yourself out of these toxic behaviors, and you're finally getting to see your world more clearly. And for me, when I first realized this, when I accepted this truth, right? Because life was always showing me this, but I wasn't willing to accept it until I sobered myself up literally, as well as emotionally, and of course, spiritually, right? I cleared my spiritual lens. And when I started to have real discernment again, I started to see that most of my life was filled with individuals who would siphon, because I used to be one of those individuals, right? We will all drain each other's energy. So one person might drain resources, right? They always want the 10 sack, the 20 sack, the 30 sack that you just bought. The other person, they want the emotional dependency. So they always siphon you emotionally, always got some type of chaos and drama that they're putting on you, right? Another one might be literal physical, right? They always want you to be doing something or, moving something, doing something for them that is utility. And there is no type of reciprocity in that relationship. So again, I really started to inspect and investigate each relationship in my life. I started to take an audit of the people that I had around me, and I realized that I was living in an environment of those who siphoned. Now, the reason behind that is actually a little more complex than we'd like to assume. Some of us want to blame the outside world. Oh man, the world's just full of takers. The world's just full of people who just... That's not necessarily the case. You're the one who chose those people and chose to engage them. And that's okay. This ain't a victim blaming, victim shame. This ain't a shaming or blaming session. This is just a straight up and down session, right? You chose those individuals because you resonated with them when you were in that space in your life. At a certain point, you believe that those people had something to offer you, right? And so you had a level of resonance with them. You had an emotional, mental, sometimes physical resonance. Maybe y'all share the same addictions and habits. Maybe y'all share the same type of activities. Definitely share the same spirit and mindset. But now you've shifted. Now you've transformed, or you are transforming into who you've truly always been. So you're reforming, I guess you would say, right? Because it's getting back to the natural state of who you have always been and forgot you were. So again, you find yourself in these situations. Now, I don't only want to highlight, the siphoners, right? But I also want to make it clear that you could very well have individuals in your life that are the ones who gas you up, and you might not actually be giving enough fuel to those relationships. Right? I believe that the most beautiful thing in life is when you have a reciprocal relationship where there is no obligation. When you have a relationship in your life that you're adding to, that's adding you, adding to it, adding to you, adding to it, adding to you continuously. Right? And you guys are doing so naturally. It's not checking, keeping score or keeping tabs or checking the board or whatever it may be. Right? You are living this authentically because you have so much to give one another. However, if you have that type of relationship in your life, but you are avoiding or neglecting it like I used to be, and instead you're giving the time and attention to these other relationships, again, it's time for introspection. I'm telling y'all, I found myself at a place where those who unconditionally love me, like my cousin George, right? Those who love me unconditionally, I was afraid to contact and communicate with. I believed that I was not worthy of that love at a subconscious level, and so I wouldn't even engage those relationships. Meanwhile, the ones I had to work for, the ones I had to show different faces and masks for, the ones that I had to truly create this facade for, them relationships right there, those are the ones that I was engaging in entertaining. I was going to the siphoners. I needed the siphoners because I was a people pleaser, right? Shout out to Doing Me Guilt-Free, my first published book. Shameless or guilt-free plug. I was the individual who continued to give, right? I would open up my gas tank in order for you to siphon. I was that type of person. Now, maybe you don't think you're doing this, but instead it's a subconscious habit or a subconscious way of thinking. And so when you see this in your life, it's not a point of contention or a point of judgment. It's also not a point of judgment for the other people, right? This ain't about, blaming them and look what they did to me, etc. That's not what we're here to do. That's a weakening proposition. That's going to put you in a state of disempowerment. What you're looking to do is just reflect honestly, right? I chose these type of people and I brought them into my life, and this is what it's meant for my life. This is the type of person that I was, the type of individual that I've been thus far, and therefore this is how it's manifested within my life. That's what that is truly about. And so again, it is time for us to take a step back, to truly reflect on our lives, to truly look at who do we have, who do we not have. Now, you might be in a place where you are wondering to yourself, why do I continue to attract these type of people, right? That's the deepest level of self-questioning. When you ask yourself, why do I continue to bring the same type of people in? And this is the very same for relationships. Whenever I break down relationship dynamics, this is always the first question. Why am I attracting this type of person? And then why am I retaining this type of relationship? That's when you truly start to get deep, right? Because if you just said to yourself, I have these people in my life, let me just cut them out, you might end up in another situation with the exact same type of people in your life, because you have not taken care of that root cause. You've not taken care of the core of what you're actually dealing with, right? And of course, if you find yourself now filled, or your life is filled with, what I call like the power circle, where everybody in my life, literally every single person that I'm in contact and communication with, there is nothing but pure power. And I'm talking about intrinsic power, right? The true version of power, not dynamics and, who's better than who's this. Like, it is all unconditional love. It is all real people doing real things, people living their purpose, people living out their truth. Those are the individuals that I surround myself with. And it reflects in my own life, because I'm the one who is attracting and creating these dynamics within my own life experience, right? When I used to have the opposite, now I have this. And it's because I changed and shifted the way in which I viewed myself, and therefore the way in which I viewed life. We have to work on that self-image, that self-concept. We have to transcend that old belief system and the old paradigm. We have to let that go. We got to shed it like an old skin. We got to metamorphosize it like a moth turning, or not a moth, a caterpillar turning into a butterfly, right? We have to metamorphosize ourselves. We have to change and transcend the old and turn it into the new. We have to do that. It's not somebody else or something else out there that's going to make that decision for you. You think you just going to say one Hail Mary and everything is taken care of? I got news for you. You got work to do, sweetheart. You've got work to do. I got news for you. You got work to do, bruh. You've got work to do. So it's time for us to really buckle down and to start doing something different within our lives. And if we can't do that for ourselves, then I promise you, we will be caught up in the confines. We'll be caught up in the maze, in the what they call the labyrinth, right? We'll forever be chasing our own tail. We'll be feeling as if we're making progress, but then we're right back where we started. It's gonna feel like some type of hamster wheel that you're in. I promise you this. I know what it's like to live in Groundhog's Day, and to be honest with you, it's not worth it. Like they say, the juice ain't worth the squeeze. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. That price to pay is never worth it. I know it's comfortable. I know it's reassuring. I know it's familiar, but it's not worth it. At least not for me, right? That's the decision I've made. I know them friends are comfortable. I know I can go around them and talk about certain things, and that's going to be accepted. I know that I can be lazy and not do nothing with my life. I know I can make excuses. I know I can not take accountability around them people and not really have any repercussions. I know that I can tell them one day I'm going to do this, and then the next day I'm not doing that. I know I can get away with those things, right? I know I can be out of integrity with those people, and they're not going to really question it. Whereas when I step into the power circle, they're going to say, yo, bro, what are you doing? They're going to pull my coat. What are you doing? What's going on here? Right? Not even in a threatening way, but because they want the best for me. They're like, yo, bro, you're better than this. What are you doing right now? Are you seeing clearly? Are you seeing with your mind's eye, or are you seeing with your ego right now? They would check me on the spot. And those are the type of individuals that I want to continue to gas up. Those are the type of individuals that I want to continue to give that hose pipe to. Like, oh, you need some gas? Bro, I got you all day. And they won't siphon. They won't ever feel a need to siphon gas from you. They're so abundant and so full with what they got going on, they can't help but pour gas into your life, and y'all doing the very same into theirs. That's the type of relationship dynamics you want to find yourself in. And I promise they exist, but they only exist when you start to transform into one of those type of individuals. It doesn't work any other way. You think, man, I'm finally going to run into somebody and they're going to be this and that. I promise you, if you ran into them people today, you wouldn't be able to stay in that circle. And it wouldn't be because they rejected you in that circle. It would be because you reject yourself. You would find ways to sabotage that relationship. I remember when I had direct access to individuals of, in this quote unquote high caliber, right? Very successful people materially. But I was so self-conscious. I was so self-conscious that I was afraid to actually water that grass or actually contribute and invest into those relationships. I thought I had nothing to add. I thought, who am I in this relationship dynamic? What can I really do for this person? That's how I thought. Instead of just soaking it up, instead of just being in those spaces and knowing that I deserve to be in those spaces. And that's the thing. It's really about our own worthiness. It's about self-worth. How do we see ourselves? How do I perceive myself? If I perceive myself as lesser than, I got news for you. It ain't gonna fly. If I see myself as not good enough for love in and of myself, I will continue to surround myself with individuals, whether romantic relationships or familial or friendships. I will continue to surround myself with those type of relationships that do not gas me up. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Before I bounce, before I leave, guilt-free plug of my first published book, Doing Me Guilt-Free. Make sure to get yourself a copy of one of these by clicking the link below. It's going to be the best investment you made in whatever year that you buy this book. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. As soon as you open that joint up, boom, things are going to shift for you. Appreciate you. Namaste. Namaskar.